Hey everybody, Kyle Goethe here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel with this month's movie haul. Remember I said I wasn't going to do one of these every single month because I wasn't going to be buying that many movies? But that's not important right now. What is important is I've got some new movies to talk about. It's the end of April. We're going to go through, eight new adds to my collection. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it'd be a little bit less, but my problems don't consist of what's going on. I've been buying a couple things for the show, a couple things for various other projects, things we're working on in the future, so that's where they're coming from. But let's just jump right in with the first acquisition of the month. This one, I guess you could say I ordered it last month, but it arrived this month. It was a movie for our show, for Kyle and Nick on Film, and it is Thursday. I was not aware of this movie. Nick Chuck from the St. Paul Filmcast, my co-host on Kyle and Nick on Film, brought it up as a friend of his, and he said that this friend of his hates the movie, hates it so much. So I was expecting something really terrible, and the problem is it's just kind of a lot of like it's not as good as the movies it's trying to be, but it's not nearly as bad as I expected it to be. It's just more like it's a fluffy 87-minute movie that I don't see myself going back to very often. But it's weird because you've got Thomas Jane and Aaron Eckhart, who kind of play the same guys in a lot of other movies, but they're playing opposites in this one. Yeah, it's fine. It's not like, it's not grand, but it's not terrible. It's very forgettable. Honestly, I watched the movie at the beginning of the month. I can't tell you a lot about it. It's got a pretty good cast of characters in it, at least. So that's it. Thursday from Skip Woods. All right, up next, I nabbed this right here. This is the 4K copy of The Matrix Resurrections, which seems like I'm a little shocked as to the number of people that don't like this movie. I can understand some people being vehemently opposed to it. It's very similar to Reload and the Revolutions in its style, but it's really dynamically different in its story. I really love this movie. I don't love it as much as the other three, but I've always been a person who I appreciate the ambition that the Wachowskis have always put to film, and I really liked where they took this one. I have two issues with the movie. There's only two issues I have with it. One is I think that the action is really downplayed. There is the Neo and Trinity portion, basically like as they start to see who they are and they start to regain their powers, the action is a little light because Neo just does this a lot, where he like pushes a lot of people with like force pushes. That I wish that the film had a little bit harder action to it, just something a bit more like in line with the previous movies. I get that it's kind of a treatise on Lega sequels, if you will, but I don't know. I think this movie was mostly solid. The other thing I kind of don't think works as well is the kind of the changes in terms of the Swarm, which is the new Matrix thing in this new iteration of the Matrix. They have something called the Swarm, which is the people can be commanded as like a zombie infestation, basically chase you down. There are a lot of like gooby bodies doing their gooby stuff. I think it's a cool idea. I don't think it's executed extremely well. But other than that, I think this is an amazing movie. I think what it does to build upon the world is fantastic. What it does to advance the characters is great. I would love to see what happens next. I feel like this film ends in a place where I feel comfortable where it ends, but I'd like to see what's going to happen after that. I don't think we're going to get that because this movie didn't do terribly well, but I will always appreciate ambition, and I think most of the ambition in this film pays off quite well. All right, number 3. My wife asked me, because she saw my Amazon account, she's like, why'd you buy this movie again? She doesn't know that this next movie is one that I own the remake for, but I've never actually owned the original, and that is Cat People. This is the Criterion Blu-ray. This is going to be a future episode of Kyle and Nick on Film, and I've seen the movie before. I really loved it, so I wanted to add it to my collection before we talked about it, because I was like, well, if I'm going to pay money for it, I'm just going to buy a copy. I'm not going to pay to re-rent it if I like the movie and I've been planning on buying it. Like, I'll just order it and have it here for advance. Cat People is one where I think the original movie is great. I think Curse of the Cat People, the sequel, was really good. I think the remake is really great, but they're all different movies. They're very, very drastically different. They use the same kind of ideas but play with them in a different way. I think all three movies are quite good. I really like this one, though. This is the Criterion edition. It's got a lot of good special features on it right here, and it's a short little 73-minute movie, but I really think it makes an impact for what it's trying to do. I really dug Cat People. I love all three of them, and deal with it. But she didn't know there was an original, I guess. I had shown her the remake when I watched it for the first time with her, and she said she didn't realize that there was that it was a remake of a previous film, and so I was like, no, there's a black and white, the 40s one that was also quite good as well. So she didn't know. Now she does. All right, up next is another movie that my wife really loves. I have grown to like it even more and more the more I've thought about it, and have had to revisit it in some way. And that is James Wan's newest film, Malignant. This movie is very different than a lot of other James Wan movies. It's very different than a lot of movies right now. It's really swinging for the fences. Remember when I talked about ambition? This is an ambitious movie in terms of what it wants to do, what it wants to accomplish. And I think for the most part, it's very entertaining. It's cheesy, it's silly, it's goofy, it's meant to be kind of fun and over the top. That's kind of the point. Yeah, it's got a cool little it's got a fun style to it. And I think it's a lot of unique visual aesthetic that I've been meaning to revisit. It's a movie that I think will grow every time I watch it. So, Malignant. There it is right there. All right, up next. I had this one sent to me as well while I was on vacation in Arizona. This next movie is a movie that my wife did not see in the theater with me, and I had to try and keep her spoiler-free for the next several months while this movie was playing out its theatrical run, because we just didn't get time. We tried to go to the theater together to see it a couple months ago, and there was this whole fiasco where we ended up not even getting to see the movie. So finally got to watch it together. This is one I saw and really loved from last year, and it's Spider-Man No Way Home. This is the 4K. This is the Walmart exclusive version of the film. I don't think there's anything different about it except for the case. I just really like that 4K case compared to, let's have the other one. This is the standard 4K case. I think it's an ugly looking 4K. So when I had the option, they were all I was like, well, give me the Walmart one, because it looks much better. Yeah, the Target one was, yeah, it's fine. Best Buy one, fine. But yeah, I really liked this specific look of the film. So you've heard me talk about Spider-Man No Way Home ad nauseum. I really dig the movie. I think that it's got some plot conveniences, some fan service that maybe doesn't hit the mark, but there's a lot of it that's actually used in a clever way to move the characters forward and move the story forward. There's just certain things about it where, like, that's fan service. That's a plot convenience. Like, it's very much there. But I don't think it hurts the viewing experience much just because you know it is. You know. All right, up next is another series. This was a series I picked up. I'm surprised I didn't have it ruined for me, spoiled for me. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet. It played on USA and Sci-Fi. I don't have cable anymore. And then it went to Peacock, but I was waiting for the kind of the unrated version, the full-length film. I was just going to watch it all in one sitting. Chucky Season One. Child's Play is one of the franchises I've been with since a kid. It's one of my earliest horror viewing experiences. I remember sneaking upstairs, and my parents were watching Child's Play 2, and it was the scene where the guy got strangled to death with the plastic bag in his car. It affected me, scared the crap out of me, and been a fan of Chucky ever since. Seed of Chucky notwithstanding, I think it's a terrible movie, but I think the other ones all have some merit to them. And I think Seed of Chucky's watchable. It's not good. I really didn't like the remake, though. You've probably heard my thoughts on that before, but I just think remaking a franchise that's still going, even though it's legally within your right, kind of a shady thing to do. Kind of a dick move. But hasn't stopped it yet, because we got Chucky Season 1 out right now. Season 2's in development. Haven't seen anything about it. Know nothing about it, really, except for the first trailer, I guess, which is a trailer for a show. So it's showing like a minute's worth of footage out of like a 6-hour thing. So I'm very excited to see Chucky Season 1. These next two are used movies, I guess, if you will, if that matters to you. This one right here I had sent to me by a fan who knew that I was interested in this stuff and that I watched a few of them, and I just was very happy to get the copy of it. This is 30 for 30, Volume 1. So this is the first 30 movies that came out for 30 for 30. If you don't know what that is, it's an ESPN documentary series with bunch of movies, basically. A bunch of documentary movies about sports. I've never been the biggest sports person, but damn, these documentaries really get me into it. It's kind of like when I watched Dark Side of the Ring, knowing nothing about wrestling movies, and I just was like, whoa, like the stories behind the scenes are crazier than the stories on display. That's kind of how 30 for 30 is to me. I know very little about most of these guys. In fact, I think of these first 30 movies, I don't think I've seen any of them. I think I must have seen most of the ones that happened later. Yeah, and some of my favorite ones later. But so I'm sad that they're not on here, but I'm very excited to see these first 30 because I've never seen any of them, I don't think. 30 documentary movies. That'll take me some time to get through. So, and this next one was I picked this up. I go to Half Price Books every week or two and just try to peruse and see what's on their little clearance rack and see what's going on in their books. And I picked up a book this time, and I also picked up this. This is my used DVD copy of Dog Day Afternoon. I've never seen Dog Day Afternoon, but it was $2, so I nabbed it. Simple enough. I only watched Sidney Lumet, I guess, from, I think he did Serpico, right? I think so. Other than that, I hadn't seen anything else he'd done until we started Kyle and Nick on Film, and then I watched 12 Angry Men, Network, and I think we had talked about doing Dog Day Afternoon at some point, so now I have it when we do it on the show. Al Pacino is just great. It's Al Pacino. I'm gonna watch the movie. I know only enough of it of what's said on the front cover, so I haven't broached the film yet, but I'm excited to see it. And considering I've lessened my movie intake, I know 8 seems like a lot for any normal person. I added all this stuff to my collection this month, but I've been watching a lot of things in like making space, I guess, as you will. Hopefully it's enough where I don't collapse in on myself like a dying star. But those are the films and shows that I picked up this month. It was Thursday, The Matrix Resurrections, Cat People, Malignant, Spider-Man No Way Home, Chucky Season 1, the complete first volume of 30 for 30, and Dog Day Afternoon. What did you think about the films I added to my collection? Have you seen any of them? Do you like them? Do you hate them? There's a lot of people that like and hate many of the movies that I put in my collection, so let me know your thoughts on them down below. And while you're down there, consider liking and subscribing to the channel. There are 2 free things that you can do that will help support my channel, help me to grow a little bit more, and also make sure you don't miss new episodes of the shows as they drop. I try to get stuff out as often as I can, but I'm also writing a book. I'm also doing a lot of the pre- and post-production on Kyle and Nick on Film. I run a website. I'm very, very busy on a number of things, so I try to keep a regular release strategy for most of the stuff. But it does help if you're subscribed to know when new stuff comes out, to try and make it a little bit easier for you. And I appreciate my subscribers. I don't have many of them, but I love the ones that I do, and I love interacting with you guys down in the comment section. It's really, really great. So I appreciate all that stuff. You can find all my film reviews over at goatfilmreviews.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at Almighty Goatman. And you can also check out my show, Kyle and Nick on Film. We have new episodes Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Recently we did Copland. We also did Martyrs for our Scary Movie Saturday. So you can check out those episodes very, very quickly by clicking the links down in the description and checking out Kyle and Nick on Film. I do appreciate it, guys. And we'll see you next month.